Hey, welcome back to the Club Junkies Thursday night league. What's in the bag? We are on to week 9 technically, but I'm not going to be playing in my league this week. Unfortunately, I won't be there on Thursday. But on the good side, I'm still playing golf on Thursday. It's just going to be at a good friend of mine's member guest tournament. So I'm playing in a member guest on basically Thursday through Saturday. So I'm not going to make it to league, but I will be playing golf. And we're going to do the what's in the bag for that instead tonight. So Week 8 was a struggle, the worst round of the year for me. So shot 42, and I just felt like nothing was working. I didn't hit driver well, 3-woods, hybrids, whatever. I mean, everything I was kind of hitting left. Over the weekend, went and played again, kind of figured out a lot of what I was doing wrong. But for league night, I putted probably fairly well. Had that the TaylorMade Spider ZT, the zero torque version. That was probably the best club in the bag for the week. I didn't make any crazy putts. But when I got the ball on the green finally, I did putt fairly well and get it real close to the hole. It wasn't 3-putting, wasn't blowing balls by or leaving them short. So putter was probably the strongest club in the bag for the for last week's league play. Everything else was a struggle. Whether it was wedges, I just didn't get the ball close. Irons, I just didn't really hit any greens. I was hitting the ball actually really solid with the irons. I was just missing right and left. I just was not aim-wise hitting it straight. So good solid shots, and I love the feel of the P7CBs. They're a super underrated forged cavity back. I just did not hit them straight. So that was the bummer there. And then, like I said, with driver woods, whether it was the hybrids, the fairways, the driver, they all were kind of all over the place. So I was scrambling all the whole time, and I just never got the ball. I never hit greens in regulation. And when I did finally get the ball on the green, I putted okay. And that kind of, I think, actually saved me from being worse than I was. So yeah, it was just a rough night all around. Had a few pars in there, but had a couple doubles, and it was a struggle. So yeah, 42, worst round. Thankfully, I went and played over the weekend with a completely different setup and played fairly well. So I will say that at least that was kind of a hopefully one-time thing, and I'll be back on track in a couple weeks when I get back to league. So again, didn't play. Not going to play this week, but we're going to do kind of a new what's in the bag. This is going to be playing this member guest. This is going to be the gamer bag. I'm going to call it the gamer bag version 1.0 because I know this is going to change, and there's maybe 2 spots that could change depending on when I get out there and see the conditions. So this is going to be bag for the member guests. Like I said, I have to play 14 clubs. I can't be swapping things out during the round or anything like that. I can probably swap them out in between rounds during the days and from day to day. But for the most part, I'm going to stick with this bag for most of the week. So this will be probably the most I play the same 14 club shafts, everything all year. Maybe my second most as I go in August with a group of guys. But this is kind of the gamer bag. So this is what I've narrowed down to at this point in time, what I will play. This is the irons this is the clubs that, if you said, hey, take anything in your collection and go play, what are you going to play the best with? This is what I'm going with. So we'll start at the top, and this is the one where there's a little bit of, I was hitting a couple different drivers over the weekend when I played, kind of going back and forth, hitting 2 drives on a hole, things like that. So kind of in between 2 drivers. I'm going to bring them both and going on the range. We have a practice round on Wednesday. So I'm going to play we did have the practice round on Wednesday. I'm going to go play both drivers, bring them both out, see which one wins out. And whichever one does will be the gamer. But there's 2 to try. I will say 1A and 1B, and 1A is going to be the Ping G440 Max. Now, it's interesting enough. I was hitting this driver earlier in the year, and I was hitting it terrible. I was not hitting it well. I was topping balls. I was doing all the stuff. It was really brutal. And I figured for me, I kind of figured out the swing weight was a little bit heavy on this one compared to what I usually play. So this one here, I kind of put a slightly more counterbalance shaft in it in the Graphite Design Tour AD VF. Which isn't a counterbalance shaft, but Graphite Design stuff tends to be a little bit on the more counterbalance side compared to other shafts. So going with that, and it is a little bit shorter shaft as well. This thing here comes in about 44 3/4 inches long. So lowers the swing weight a little bit on this one. I actually have to throw it on the scale. I've kind of been doing it by feel to see exactly what it is. But this is the 440 Max 10.5 head, and over the weekend hit it really well and hit some poor swings and really kept it in play. So this is going to be the number 1, kind of 1A, and then, like I said, I'm going to have a second one to go with me. But I like the stability on this head. When you hit it in the center, it does go far. It may not be the longest driver of the year for me. I had the Qi35 LS out, and that was longer on good shot to good shot. but when I missed, this thing kept it in play a little bit better. So I also absolutely love the sound and feel on the G440 stuff. I think Ping absolutely nailed it. So we're going to go this. This is a 10.5 head. We're set up standard as just 10.5 here on the hosel. The rear weight is set to neutral as well. So this is going to be kind of 1A. This is the one that I'm going to say is kind of going to be the starter here. But again, I'm going to make the determination on Wednesday when I hit this and the other driver side by side, and we'll see which one feels the best and performs the best. So I'm bringing them both with me probably all the days. And when I'm warming up on the range, if one feels better or I'm getting a little crazy, we'll swap it out. So Ping G440 Max 10.5 head, standard setting on the hosel, standard weight, with a Graphite Design Tour AD-VF. This is a 6X, and this thing here is really solid. I basically looking at something, this head for me launches pretty high when I hit it well, so something that's a little bit kind of low-mid launch. Really smooth feel, again, just a hair shorter, and to me feels just maybe a smidge counterbalanced in this head. So just an overall really good feel to it. I also like that, well, this is a 6X, it's not insanely stiff. It's still got a little play to it, and of course, if you've been following me at all, you know that my miss is way left. So something like this, hopefully, will help me hit it a little bit straighter and keep it in the fairway a little more often. So that is driver 1A, and then 1B is going to be the Titleist GT2. So this is a driver I've had ever since the GT series came out. I really liked it. It's a really solid head. It blends, a ton of distance, ton of forgiveness. Just makes it easy to hit. This is actually an 11-degree head. And when I got fit for this, my swing was slightly different. So I do hit it a little bit higher now. I'm still not a high ball hitter by any means, but this one here is something that's easy to launch, gets the ball up in the air, has a ton of ball speed. Now I do find this is a little bit easier to turn over than my TSR2 that I had before it. So it does, like I said, feel like I can kind of go a little bit more left with this, not maybe as slightly neutral bias to it. But overall, I really like this head. Sound and feel is fantastic. Ball speed across the face, really, really good. Misses on this go a long way and stay pretty straight. So this one here is shafted up with a Mitsubishi Diamana WB 63X. Same thing. I'm kind of putting a little bit lower launching, lower spinning shaft in this high launch head. Again, trying to get that initial flight up high, but carry a long ways with a little bit lower spin. So when I was messing with this one over the weekend as well, hit it pretty well with a different shaft in it. But this shaft here, figured I'd go something that launched a little bit lower than the one I was hitting previously. So this should be a pretty good combo. Should be pretty low spin. The funny thing is about the WB, it's a low launch, low spin shaft. I actually hit a little bit higher than low. It's kind of more of a kind of mid shaft or mid-low shaft for me. It's just something the way my swing is. I load this thing a little differently and it launches a little bit higher. So good smooth feel on it. Should control some of that launch and be a good combo there. So these two, like I said, we'll battle it out on Wednesday. I'm recording this a little bit earlier. But they'll battle it out for the starting position going into Thursday, Friday, Saturday when the rounds actually matter. Now, 3-wood was actually a much easier decision. This one has kind of been one I've kind of just been going between two 3-woods really for most of the year. And we're going to go with the Callaway Elyte Titanium. So this head here, a little bit bigger, all titanium, super fast ball speed, but it's also really forgiving, easy to launch in the air. The face is kind of I would say, mid-depth. It's easy to hit off the deck, but you can still tee it up and hit it. I'm going heavyweight back, so 10 grams in the back, 6 grams in the front, and this thing here is just easy to hit. I love the sound of it. It's kind of more muted than you'd expect from a titanium head, but overall big, and it sits kind of like 3 degrees open. So for a person who misses it left, that's kind of a nice thing. Now, this one here, I did move it up to a +1 in neutral on the hosel previously when I played it, and I hit it pretty well. Off the deck, it was really good, but off the tee, I kind of felt like I actually lost a little distance for it, like it went almost too high. So bringing it back down to just neutral and stated loft. So not going to keep this thing going up to 16. It's going to stay at 15 degrees. But I've been a big fan of this. I've seen some like mini driver ball speed numbers off the face with this thing. So I think it'll be a great addition. And the course we play is not crazy long. There's 2 par 5s, one of which you could probably use this off the deck to go for it too if you hit a good drive. The second one, I don't think I have the firepower to get there. I'd have to hit probably a career drive and then a career 3-wood to probably even get it on the front edge of the green. So, in terms of usage here, I was really debating to go mini driver in this spot to use it. But again, I was just, the yardage distance between driver and mini driver for me isn't that great. And we're going to go with this just to be a little bit versatile. And again, the ball speed on this, I think distance-wise, again, we're going to have no problem hitting it to the spots I need to. So, been a big fan of this 3-wood. and it'll go in the bag. And then with this one here, shafted up, this is a KBS PGW, the new PGW that came out, the Player's Graphite Wood Shaft from KBS. This is actually the prototype version, painted all white with prototype. It's a 70 stiff, but it is that same shaft, just different graphics on it. So this is, again, a little bit higher launching shaft, easy to get the ball up in the air, 70-gram range, but really stable. Hitting this thing, recently, just impressed with how stable this thing is for being a higher launch shaft, because I used to hit the old TD from KBS, and I loved the feel of it, how stable it was. But this one here definitely does that while giving a little bit more launch. So really good here. This one, we'll hit it off the tee a little bit on a couple shorter par fours. And like I said, off the deck, I just don't know that I'm going to use it that much off the deck. On one hole, maybe. And again, on the, like I said, the 14th hole, it's just almost too long that I don't think I can get there. So unless all of a sudden I conjure up some speed that I didn't know I have. So so we'll go there. And then for 7-wood, this one may be the surprise to everybody. The past 2 years, I played a Ping G430 and really loved it. This year, I think we're switching over to the TaylorMade Qi35 Tour. So this is the titanium one. Really kind of compact head, a little bit deeper face. I really like this thing a lot. It's a 21-degree head, 7-wood, 21-degree head. I've got it set one click lower, so it should be playing a little bit closer to 20. I found that with this here, shoving that heavy weight forward brings that launch down just a little bit, and this combination is, for distance-wise, exactly what I needed to go. Off the tee, it's like 210-ish, 215. Off the deck, I'm looking right around 205 to 210. So it is definitely a solid option there. And it gets the ball up in the air really easily. Deeper face, you can hit it off the tee on some of the short par fours. I love the look. It's very classic, very traditional in terms of the shape, but a really good 7-wood here. And I've been hitting this thing a lot better as I've been playing it. So excited to get this one out here and get it kind of dialed in with the settings. It was pretty close between this and the Ping G440, but ended up going with the Qi35 Tour. So this one here is exciting. And then this is shafted up with, of course, the Fujikura Ventus TR Blue. This is an 8 stiff. Same shaft I played in previous 7-woods, my previous Ping one. I played this for a handful of different 7-woods, but it's found its home here in this this TaylorMade 7-wood, and it feels great. It's kind of that mid-launch, low spin, kind of, with that added loft on the face. It kind of does help bring that flight just a little bit down. And again, super stable, easy to hit, and very consistent. So I've been playing that 8 stiff for a while in 7-woods, and I really, really like it. So that will be 7-wood. And then for my 4-iron, we are going to skip the 4-iron. And I think after hitting this club a little bit more, I think it's taken over the gamer spot. I was playing a PXG Black Ops hybrid before, and I think this time we are going with the Titleist GT2. So this is a GT2. It's technically on the head listed as a 5, but it's 24 degrees. I've got this thing actually set to B1, which is just a flat setting. I've been messing with the settings a little bit to make sure the gapping's right, and I found that in B1, it's actually going the distance I needed to go while still going high and going far. So it's another thing to say, just because a hybrid says a 5 on it doesn't mean that's the number that you need for your bag. You got to go hit it, make sure the gapping's right, the distance is right. But this thing is basically my 200 club, and it's easy to hit off the deck. It's super stable. I've got the heavy weight in the toe, lightweight in the heel, so it's lower neutral. Takes away a little bit of that left. But again, a little deeper face, great off the tee on short par fours, but it's really easy to hit off the deck as well. So this one is, one that, especially over the weekend, went and played it a little bit more. Really impressed with how this thing has played. It launches super high. It goes really straight. It's really stable. And in the flat setting with that heavyweight out there, it goes really straight. So I've been messing, like I said, I messed with taking it down a degree, had it at 23, and then I brought it back to 24, got a little bit of height back. So this thing has been really, really good. And I really liked it, the sound and feel, and I like the look. When you set it down, it's kind of got this like mini fairway woodish look, but it's not super huge. And I think Titleist did a really nice job with the GT2 in terms of forgiveness, height, and just overall looks. I think they did a great job. So this one here actually has the stock Tensei blue in it, so the 1K blue from Mitsubishi. This is actually a 65 stiff, but I tell you what, I've hit it really well. It launches high, it goes a long way, it goes the distance I needed to go, and even though it's just a stock shaft, it works out really well. So I was thinking about swapping it out for a different hybrid shaft, but I've hit it so well that I'm just going to leave it the way it is. So definitely lighter weight than I think a lot of people would typically go to for their hybrid, especially when they're matching it up with heavier other shafts. but it's just working right now. So it feels good. It gets the ball high in the air, helps launch it up there, and it's been going straight. So this has been is going to be the forward replacement and or 4-iron replacement, and definitely easier to hit, definitely higher to launches higher. So if you do have to hit it into the green, and there is a couple longer par fours on there on the course, so this will definitely potentially be used on one for sure, one of them for sure, possibly two. So some shots there, and then depending on the shots into some other greens, could be used off the tee as well or off the deck. So we'll see how that fits. But I've been a really big fan of that GT2. It's been playing really, really well. Now, irons, I think this one, again, no surprise. I've been kind of raving about these irons for a while. These are the Cobra 3DP Tours. So, yes, the 3DP Tour, the 3D printed ones, they look like a blade when you set them down, but they're hollow body, have a bunch of tungsten in the heel and toe, and they are just more stable and easier to hit than they should be for their looks and their size. I love the looks. I love looking down on it. It makes you feel like a really, gives you confidence, makes you feel like a better player. But when you do miss hit it, you still get that stability and the forgiveness. And while, yes, you don't get the crazy ball speed of some other irons, you still can get the ball, pretty close to the front of the green, if not on, even when you miss it here. And, while these aren't built for speed, they're not high-speed irons. They don't have a super thin face. They're hollow body, but that face is supported from like a lattice structure inside. I hit them on the center a little bit more than I do some other irons, and overall, distance-wise, they definitely keep up with majority of irons. Now, some of the super hot based long stuff, of course, it doesn't, but they keep up with a lot of irons. So these have been really, really good. I like how they play. Turf interaction solid. They feel soft. Just everything about them is really, really good. And I've been a big fan so far. The more I've played them, the more I've hit them, the more I've liked them. They go high, and you can hit the greens and control it. So I've been a fan. These have been really, really solid, and excited to put them in play when you're under a little bit of pressure. Now these are shafted up with True Temper Dynamic Gold mid 115s, just S300s. I've been a big fan of this shaft. I got them. The first time I hit them was P770s, I think. When I hit them, I had them in a set. And I really liked the shafts. I thought they were great with getting the ball higher in the air. And I've got them sent in a few different sets since then. And every set of those that has these shafts in them, I've hit them really, really solid. So these things here, feel like a dynamic gold, launch the ball a little bit higher. I will say, though, like the tip section doesn't feel like as soft as I thought it would when they first came out. But these things here, if you're looking for a little bit of height, but you like that dynamic gold kind of feel, that profile, these work really well. And I've been a big fan of them ever since. So being able to hit the ball high, they usually have the course set up firm and fast. It'll be nice to get the ball up high and let it land soft on the green. So going to play 5 through pitching wedge in that set. And then we move into wedges. And the first wedge is going to be the PXG Sugar Daddy 3. Now, this is actually one of the clubs carrying over from last year. I played this wedge all last year, and I do have to say, one, I love the soft feel of it. It feels great. Really soft. It's forged, then milled. And then 2, it spins exceptionally well out of the rough. So off the fairway, it spins really well, just like a lot of wedges do. But out of the rough, for whatever reason, this spins a little bit more, I feel like, than some other wedges that I have. So this is the 50 with the 10 S grind, so 10 degrees of bounce, the S grind, which is kind of the full sole grind. A little bit of trailing edge relief, but that leading edge is kind of rounded off, so gets through the turf really well, doesn't take big divots. And I'll chip with this around the green if there's nothing in front of me, hit little pitch shots, and on full shots, it feels really good as well. But this thing just spins, it spins great. My distance control, I feel like, is really improved, with this wedge. And this is shafted up with a Project X 6.0 wedge shaft. So this is the wedge version made to match up with the Project X shaft. So Project X has, the Project X 6.0. Well, if you want to move into wedges and you want to go a little bit softer, you have to move down to 5.5, and that's a lighter shaft. So they came up with a wedge shaft. So this matches it at 100, matches the Project X shafts at 120 grams, and it just plays softer to flex. So a little bit more weight, a little softer to flex. Good spin, good feel, and just overall like these a lot. When I hit them, I hit them to review them, and I thought I might swap these out at some point, but I really liked them, and they've stayed in the bag so far. So big fan of the Project X wedge shaft, but that is the gap wedge. And then for sand wedge, you're probably going to guess correctly that we're going to go its matching sibling, the PXG Sugar Daddy 3. This is the 5610 S grind. And S grinds are pretty much what I play in 56 or sand wedges. And the sand wedge for me is a wedge that I play a whole lot around the green. This is what I use typically out of the bunker. I kind of pitch and chip with it. Instead of using a 60, I pretty much use my 56. Now, if I'm short-sided, I'll move to the 60, but for pretty much all the other traditional shots, I'm going to play this one. And just like the gap wedge, soft feel, it feels really soft, spins really well out of the rough, and out of the fairway, it's going to spin a ton. So these things check up hard. They feel good, and turf interaction is really solid. This one here, same thing. You can kind of get it onto the turf, let it glide through, and it hits shots, predictable shots over and over again. So I've been a big fan of these wedges. I know they're expensive, but man, for me, they play really well. So this one here, excited to keep this in the bag for this year. And this is shafted up the same thing with the Project X 6.0 wedge shaft. And again, like I said, the 50 degree, it's a little bit softer, a little bit more flex to it. And for this club, which I don't hit partial shots, this is like 85 yards and in. It has good feel to it. It's got just a little more flex, a little bit more touch, a little bit more feel, and I think it worked well for those partial shots around the green. So that will be the gap wedge there. And then for lob wedge, I actually am moving back to a wedge that I played a lot last year, and then moved on, and now I've played it a little bit more, and I kind of like it. So we're going with the Titleist Vokey WedgeWorks A+ grinds. This is the 60 degree A+ grind they came out with. So the A+ is basically an M grind, and they take that grind line that you see on it, and they kind of shave it off. So it gets through the turf a little bit more smoothly, but it's got a slightly wider sole to it. If you open it up, it plays really well in the trap. This one here, same thing. You can kind of thump it into the turf, especially on tight lies, and it just kind of glides through. It doesn't want to dig. It's got a little bit of roundness kind of on that leading edge, and there's a little bit of trailing edge relief. You don't really see it as much with that grind line gone, but it is there. And yeah, just overall, I think this wedge plays really well. I'm not a person who plays 60 degree wedges wide open, playing super high flop shots. So for me, I played this thing a little bit more square, maybe slightly open depending on the shot. But this one here has just been versatile and consistent and easy to hit. I think it's a little bit forgiving for my pretty inadequate wedge game. But I've liked this a lot. I was playing the V grind before, which has a little bit more bounce. But for whatever reason, I got this thing back in the bag. I tried it or played it again, and was really impressed with it. So we're going to go back to playing the A+ grind, which I've been a big fan of. So that is the 60 degree. And then shaft-wise on this one is going to be the same thing, a Project X 6.0 wedge shaft. Something that, again, I like the feel of. I kind of matched them all up. I know previous What's in the Bags shafts have been all over the map when it comes to wedges, but this one here, all three matching. So now for putter, this one here has kind of changed a little bit. I thought I was for sure locked in with my gamer putter, and then I've been putting. I putted terrible with it the last time I took it out. I took it out over the weekend, didn't putt well with it again on some faster, better greens. And yeah, so I'm going making a switch. This one I might bring. I'll be bringing a second putter as well. But the gamer, I'm going to go to the Kevin Burns 9306 2.0. This is a putter that I reshafted with the old original steel shaft and Iomic grip, and then this putter kind of came to life for me. So when I first got this, pulled the shaft out, put in like an exotic graphite shaft and a super stroke grip and all this stuff, and I putted okay with it, but it was just okay. It didn't putt great. And then I went back to the original shaft for some reason, and it really brought this thing back to life. So I like the look, the traditional kind of, we'll call it an Answer 2 or Newport 2 style, a little bit more boxy, a little bit sharper angles on it. And overall, it just looks fantastic. The milling on it's great. And then this pyramid face, just so soft, offers great roll, and the feel on it is spectacular. So extremely soft. And on this one here, threw a little lead tape on the sole. I want to say this thing is now, I think I threw it when I weighed it, when I reshafted it. I think it's 357 grams. I said it in another video, and I think it's 357 grams now. So a little bit heavier. I play this thing short. It's 33 inches, but this has a standard Iomic, old school Iomic grip with the Burns logo on it, and just a stepless steel shaft. So nothing too crazy. Single sight line on the flange. But this one here, I'm hoping help make a few more putts, get a little bit more consistent. But this one here is probably one that the putter that I probably had the most kind of success with in terms of putting lately. So this is going to go in the bag. I will probably bring another putter. It will probably be a zero torque model. It'll either be the Dan Carrier prototype that I have, or that new Spider ZT. It'll be one of the two brought along with it to be the backup, because you never know if things go south and you need to jump on. But this thing's been a really solid putter, and kind of excited to use it. So putting around down here on my mat again. Really, really like the feel, especially the bounce through the stroke. It just feels really good. I think it matches up with my stroke really well. So the 93 06 2.0 Kevin Burns will be the starter. And then, yeah, for ball, we're going to go with the Titleist Pro V1X, which is the ball I've been playing for a long time. It's a 2025 model. I got a couple dozen of these to bring along, so I'm going to be playing these. I like the high flight. I like that little bit of added spin. It's just a ball that works well for my swing because I don't hit the ball super high. So having that help, I would love it if this was a little bit softer like the Pro V1, but still have the same flight characteristics as X. But hey, I'll deal with a slightly firmer feel, and thankfully that diamond face or pyramid face on the putter helps out soften it just a touch. So I'm gonna play the Pro V1 X as I usually do. And yeah, that is the what's in the bag for the member guest of 2025. So my week 9 will be member guest instead of league night. But that is the what's in the bag. So hopefully we'll play well. Hopefully we'll maybe make it to the shootout and have some success out there. But that's the what's in the bag. I will of course next week let you know how it all went and what will be in the bag for the next week. So check back next week and we'll cover it all.